You know you're a hyper-aware person when you spend 10 minutes dissecting a 10-second conversation you had hours ago. You replay the tape in your mind, analyzing every word, every pause, every shift in tone. Was that a friendly laugh or a condescending one? Did their eyes smile, or was there a flicker of something else? For most people, it was just a quick chat. For you, it's data. It's evidence in an internal investigation you can't seem to close the file on. You find yourself walking away from perfectly normal interactions, feeling like you've just run a mental marathon. This constant, high-definition analysis of the world around you is the hallmark of a hyper-aware mind. It feels like your brain has a searchlight when everyone else's has a flashlight. You see things others miss, both good and bad. But this non-stop processing comes at a cost. And if you've ever felt this way, you've probably wondered why. You've probably wondered if you're the only one who feels this mentally exhausted all the time. Today, we're not just going to explain why this happens. We're going to show you how to manage it. It's exhausting, isn't it? You're living life in director's commentary mode, constantly analyzing the scene instead of just being in it. You're always watching, always processing, always predicting. And because your brain is always working overtime, well-meaning advice from others often falls flat. For you, just relax is the most stressful advice anyone can give. It's like telling a master chess player to just stop seeing 5 moves ahead. This constant analysis can lead to profound loneliness and a nagging feeling that you're somehow different or even broken. Let me be perfectly clear. You are not broken, and you are not alone. What you're experiencing is a recognizable psychological trait, one with deep roots and understandable patterns. This isn't a flaw in your character. It's a high-powered operating system running without a user manual. In this video, we're going to give you the first chapter of that manual. We'll explore the unmistakable signs of a hyper-aware mind so you can confirm this is you. We'll uncover the psychological roots of where this trait comes from. And most importantly, we will give you a simple 3-step framework called A.R.C. that can help you finally quiet some of that noise. By the end of this, you'll not only feel understood, you will feel empowered. So, how can you be sure you're a hyper-aware person and not just a classic overthinker? Let's look at 4 unmistakable signs that separate hyper-awareness from the crowd. The first sign is what I call social X-ray vision. This is your uncanny ability to read the subtle, invisible data in social interactions. You don't just hear the words someone says, you perceive the micro-expressions, the hesitation in their text response, and the almost imperceptible shift in their posture. You're the one who knows a friend is upset, not because they told you, but because their usual exclamation point was replaced with a period. While others take things at face value, you're reading the subtext, the metadata of every human connection. This makes you incredibly intuitive, but also prone to seeing threats or slights where none were intended. The second sign is future-casting anxiety. Your mind is a powerful simulation engine, constantly running what-if scenarios for the future. But for the hyper-aware person, this engine is almost exclusively dedicated to mapping out worst-case outcomes. You don't just send a work email, you mentally prepare for the 10 different ways it could be misinterpreted. You imagine the follow-up questions, the potential criticisms, and the chain of events it might set off. This isn't just planning, it's a defensive strategy to ensure you're never surprised by pain or failure. It feels productive, like you're being responsible, but the cost is a state of perpetual low-grade tension. The third sign, and one of the most draining, is emotional sponging. You walk into a room and you don't just notice the mood, you absorb it. If a close friend is anxious, you start to feel anxious too, even if you don't know why they're worried. Your emotional boundaries are more like chain link fences than solid walls. You see what's on the other side, and the weather blows right through. This makes you an incredibly empathetic friend, but it also means you carry emotional weight that isn't yours. You can leave a social gathering feeling utterly depleted, not from what you did, but from what you felt. The fourth and final sign is the replay loop. This is your mind's tendency to obsessively analyze past interactions long after they're over. Someone gives you a compliment, and instead of just accepting it, you replay their delivery a dozen times to check for sincerity. You dissect your own performance in conversations, cringing at something you said that no one else even remembers. Your brain treats every conversation like a game tape, hoping to find a mistake you can correct for the future. The problem is, the game is never over, and the analysis never stops. Now, as we go through these, you might notice how this constant analysis often gets confused with other conditions like anxiety or ADHD, which is a really important connection that we'll untangle in just a bit. So, if you see yourself in these four signs, the next logical question is a powerful one. Where does this come from? Is it nature or nurture? Psychologists believe it's often a complex mix of both, rooted in our earliest experiences and our innate temperament. One of the most powerful origins is growing up in a role I call the emotional weatherman. This happens when a child grows up in an emotionally unstable or unpredictable environment. Perhaps a parent had a volatile mood, or there was unspoken tension in the house. To feel safe, the child learns they must constantly monitor the emotional atmosphere. They learn to read the tiniest cues, a heavy footstep, the way a door is closed, the tone of a sigh, to predict if a storm is coming. This skill is highly adaptive in that environment, but that child grows into an adult whose brain can't stop forecasting the weather, even when the sky is clear. A second, closely related root is its connection to trauma responses, specifically hypervigilance. After a person experiences a traumatic event, or a series of them, their nervous system can get stuck in a state of high alert. The brain essentially says, the world is not safe, and I must scan constantly for threats to prevent that pain from happening again. Hyper-awareness becomes the mind's bodyguard, but it's a bodyguard that never takes a day off, seeing potential danger in every shadow. This isn't just about feeling anxious, it's a profound physiological shift in how you perceive the world. Finally, for some, this isn't a learned response, but an innate part of their wiring. Research suggests that a certain percentage of the population is born with a more sensitive nervous system. These are the individuals often referred to as highly sensitive people, or HSPs. Their brains simply process sensory information, like sights, sounds, and emotional cues, more deeply and thoroughly than others. If this is you, you've likely been told you're too sensitive your whole life. What you were really being told is that you perceive the world in higher resolution. Now, it's crucial to address something here. As you listen to this, a skeptical part of your brain might say, doesn't everyone do this sometimes? And the answer is yes, absolutely. But the difference between a state and a trait is one of frequency and intensity. While everyone does this sometimes, for you, it is a constant, default operating system. It's not a program you run, it's the hardware you run on. So, if any of that resonates, just take a breath. It's a heavy topic, connecting our present to our past. But it explains so much, right? So after hearing all this, is it a curse? Or is it secretly a superpower? The honest answer is that it's a double-edged sword, and your greatest strength is also the source of your greatest exhaustion. Let's first be honest about the curse side. The most obvious cost is chronic fatigue. Your brain uses a significant amount of your body's energy, and running constant threat analyses and social calculus is incredibly taxing. It also leads to decision paralysis. When you can see 50 potential outcomes for a simple choice like what to have for dinner, choosing becomes an overwhelming task. And perhaps most painfully, it makes it difficult to enjoy simple moments. You're at a party trying to have fun, but your awareness is busy cataloging every social dynamic, every awkward silence, every fake laugh. You're a guest at the party, but you feel like the unpaid security guard. But that's only half the story. On the other side of that sword is a remarkable superpower. Your social X-ray vision, when honed, becomes deep empathy and powerful intuition. You're the friend who knows something is wrong before anyone else, the colleague who senses a project is going off the rails based on subtle cues. That future-casting anxiety isn't just you overthinking. You're not overthinking. You're running 1,000 simulations a minute to find the safest path forward. This makes you an exceptional problem solver and planner, able to anticipate obstacles that others don't even see coming. You're the person who brings a spare jacket because you noticed the wind shifted an hour ago. And that emotional sponging, once you learn to manage it, becomes an incredible capacity for deep, authentic connection. The key is learning to install a filter, not turn off the faucet. So I bet half of you watching are thinking it's a total curse, and the other half are thinking it's my greatest strength. And you're both right. Let me know in the comments which side you lean towards today. Now, one of the biggest sources of confusion for hyper-aware people